Hey everyone, my name is Kristen and welcome to my channel. I'm currently in my second semester of nursing school, and I quickly just want to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel so far, as well as I'm so grateful for all the positive feedback that I've been getting. So if you have anything you want to say or suggest, please put it in the comment section down below. I love to interact with everybody. And for today in this video, I just wanted to give you all the tips and tricks that I have that you should know before nursing school and anything that may help you be successful on your nursing school journey. So if you're interested, just go ahead and keep watching. Into it. I am going to leave timestamps down below in case you'd like to skip around in the video. But for my first overall tip that I have for anybody before they come into nursing school is take some time to get to know yourself. Definitely self-reflect, get to know what your interests are, what your triggers are. The reason why I feel this is so important is for many different reasons. First and foremost, if you know yourself, you know what motivates you, and you know what obstacles you might face that may set you back. Now, one thing that tends to happen with nursing students is they do burn out. And I feel like a lot of the times they burn out because they really don't understand what their stressors are, what their triggers are. They really aren't able to comprehend why they're feeling the way they're feeling. They don't have any outlets or coping mechanisms to really help them get through nursing school. So if you really understand what motivates you, you're constantly able to remind yourself of those motivators to keep you going. And if you really understand what your stressors are, you're able to remove those stressors from your life even before you start nursing school, or at least find some good coping mechanisms to take with you into nursing school. Because I feel like burnout just happens when a student just gets so overloaded by all the external stimuli. And let me tell you, I'm in an accelerated nursing program. Me and my classmates are at higher risk for burnout just because we are taking 4 to 5 nursing classes a semester. And in summer, I literally had 12 weeks to do 4 nursing classes with 2 clinicals. It was a very stressful semester, but I have really good coping mechanisms and techniques that work best for me. So I always make sure to continue implementing my coping mechanisms whenever I feel like I need to take a step back from nursing school. So if you have a good understanding of who you are, what your stressors are, what your triggers might be, and things that motivate you, you can constantly refer back to your motivators and remind yourself why you decided to put yourself through nursing school. And I quickly just want to say, yes, nursing school is hard. Let's get that out in the open, but it is not impossible. There have been people before you who have graduated, and there are people who are currently in nursing school getting through it. So you can do it. You will get through nursing school. It will just require some hard work and dedication. And I do just want to add on, really getting to know yourself before getting into nursing school. Really get to know what your learning style is. Now, you are going to have to tailor your learning style for each class that you go into, but if you have a good general understanding of what works best for you, you can continually implement that throughout your nursing career to be the most successful student you can be. So using me as an example, when I was younger, I used to be such a visual learner. I used to love graphs, charts, color coding everything, and highlighting, and I just realized now in nursing school, that doesn't work for me. It did take me a little bit to realize what learning strategies worked best for me, but I really wish I knew that before coming into nursing school, just so I had a little bit of an easier transition. And something that worked for you in high school or in undergrad, if you're like me and you already have a college degree, may not work for you in nursing school. So just remember that. But if you really have a good just general understanding of your learning style, you may have an easier transition into nursing school. So I do know that just some learning styles you can think of are like auditory. Do you learn best like in a lecture setting when the professor is speaking to you and telling you important concepts? Or are you more of a visual learner, like you need pictures or you have to look at the lecture slides? Or are you a kinesthetic learner? I know me, I like to touch everything. So whenever I'm trying to stay focused, I do like to make sure I have like a little fidget cube, or I will also like to handwrite my notes. So I'm constantly touching a pen and constantly using my hand while I'm studying. So I really do have a good understanding of my own learning style. So whenever I go into a classroom and a professor has a completely different way of teaching, I can at least try my best to tailor my learning style to the way they're teaching the information. So if there's anything that you take away from this video, find a note-taking method that works best for for you, okay? And one last thing I wanted to add about getting to know your note-taking style. Anytime you're taking notes or reading, add color. Literally, this is the time to make your note-taking fun because you are going to be doing a lot of note-taking throughout nursing school. So add your own style to it, add some color, add some doodles. If you're a good drawer, do whatever you can to make note-taking fun for you. Because I know note-taking can get very overwhelming, or you know what, some people just may not find studying fun. So do whatever you need to do to make note-taking that much more enjoyable so you can continue to be successful. Now, bouncing off the topic of note-taking, I really just want to say that you need to start doing practice questions early and start studying for the NCLEX the moment you get into nursing school. Now, I don't literally mean start studying for the NCLEX exam, but get yourself in that mindset that you are going to school to take an exam so you can get your RN license. The best way to do this is practice questions. I can't say this enough. I feel like people always ask me, well, why do you do so well on exams? Or how are you understanding the concept so quickly? Well, I do practice questions. Practice questions really help solidify the information that I need to know. And I don't have the best critical thinking skills. I've struggled on exams in the past, on standardized tests in the past because of my critical thinking skills. Coming into nursing school and have only been a nursing student for 2 semesters, I can already tell you my critical thinking has developed so much just from doing practice questions. And I feel like so many people neglect practice questions, and I constantly will tell people, go on Quizlet, look for practice questions on Quizlet. A lot of the times Quizlets will have rationales as to why the answer is the right answer. So I am going to show you a few examples of where you can get practice questions. The first one is Quizlet. So a lot of the times you can just put in a main topic of what you're studying and type in Quizlet in Google, and then a whole bunch of Quizlets will pop up. So you are able to kind of look through and see maybe what practice questions you like to do. I do suggest to do practice questions that have the rationales in the answer, just so you understand why the correct answer is the correct answer. But if you don't like Quizlet, because I know not everybody does, sometimes the answers may not be the most reliable just because they are coming from another individual instead of like from a published study book. But this is a free resource, so I really do like to utilize Quizlet. The next resource that I have for you is the Davies Success Series. I did use the foundations one, and this helped me really understand how to break down the route to a nursing style question. So I decided to continue using the Davies book throughout med-surg as well as pharmacology, and that was the best decision that I could have done for myself. Now, if you want to rent these books, they're about $20 on Amazon, so they're not too expensive. I know it is an extra expense on top of what you are already covering, but just know that you are investing in your education and in your future if you want to be successful. So I would suggest this is a great series to use. I've used it for 3 of my classes so far, and I have not been disappointed. Another resource that I have for you is ATI. Now, my school actually comes with ATI, so it is in our tuition, so we do pay for it. But if you are able to get your hands on some ATI resources, literally ATI is like a Cliff's Notes version of what I need to know for all of my classes. So whenever I go through these ATI books, all the information is right there, and it's just so easy to understand, and it's broken down to the point where I'm able to grasp the concept pretty quickly. So ATI is a really good resource to look into, and sometimes you will find ATI questions on Quizlet, just saying, look at Quizlet, and that will give you some extra practice questions in case you don't want to invest in ATI. Another resource that I have for you is the Saunders NCLEX Comprehensive Review Guide. Now, I started using this book from day 1 in nursing school. I was told to start studying from this day 1 because the moment that time comes where you're starting to actually sit down and study for the NCLEX, you will have already gone through this whole entire book, and yes, you may not know all the material, but you have a good general understanding of what is inside here and what you really need to focus on for NCLEX. So like I said, think of it as you are studying for an exam at the end of your graduation date, so really take the time to kind of just go through one of these review books, use it as just a supplementary material, just so you can get a different perspective of what material you really need to know. And sometimes having this supplement material really helps get that information engraved into your brain so you do not forget it. but I really do like the idea that I've started using this from day one, because now when I go back through it, a lot of the information sounds very familiar to me, and I feel like my NCLEX study routine is not going to be as in-depth as I thought it would be, just because I know when the time comes around where I have to start studying for NCLEX, I already have a good solid foundation on what I need to know. So I'm just essentially brushing up on those topics. So it helps make my studying a lot less stressful for me when I'm going into the NCLEX. And I quickly just want to say I am going to do a whole separate video on nursing style questions, so look out for that. I have been asked a few times about nursing style questions, so I just figured I would do a whole separate video for that. But get prepared for nursing style questions, so practice, practice, practice. All right, the next tip that I have for you is get organized early. Even before nursing school, get organized as soon as you can. Find an organizational routine that works good for you. I promise you will need to stay organized in nursing school. So invest in a planner. I have a Vera Bradley planner that I used to use. I switched over to a bullet journal. I love bullet journaling. This is so stress relieving for me, but honestly, you could use the calendar on your phone. You could use Google Calendar. I know so many people that use all different kinds of things. You can get a big dry erase board with a month on it and write it in every month. Do whatever works best for you. Seriously, you need to get organized as soon as you can. In nursing school, they are going to be throwing so many assignments at you. You are going to be doing so many new things that you're going to have to take the time to put aside to study. And regardless of how you like to plan out your day, you don't have to sit here and plan out every minute of your day. I definitely don't do that. What I do is I just make a list of things that need to get done before the end of the day, and I try my best to estimate how much time each assignment is going to take, just so I know if my list of things to do for one day is practical for me to get done by the end of the day. But I do know some people do like to have those organizational techniques where they have their whole week planned out hour by hour, and if that works for you, I think that's a great idea. I used to coach for time management, so I used to tell so many students to do that, but I know for me, I am that person. If I'm not doing the specific thing that I told myself to do at that time, I tend to hold myself accountable, and then I feel bad. So I try not to set myself up to a structured routine like that, but I do just try to go with the flow during the day, and then I try my best to give myself some time for each assignment and then try to get it done within a good amount of time that I had predicted. So when it comes to organization before nursing school, I do go through every single class, and I will look at the syllabi, look at the expectations that will be expected of me throughout the semester. I will also look at all the dates that I have exams, just to get a good understanding of what my semester is going to look like. Then I will go ahead and take my planner, or now my bullet journal, and I will sit down and put in all the dates that I have till the end of the semester, just so I can have a month-by-month view of what I am going to be doing. All right, just to give you an example of what I do sit down every Sunday and plan out what I need to do for my week. So I do designate a specific color for each class, and I will also put a little box next to whatever I have, just so when I'm done, I can check it off. And if I don't happen to get it done that day, or I can push it off to another day just because I have other things that need to get done, I just put a line through it and cross it out, just so I know for the next week to carry that over, or for the next day to carry that over. But this semester, I did decide to designate blue for my mental health class, and I do have a lighter color blue for my clinical and a darker color blue for the actual class itself. Then I have purple for my older adult healthcare class, an orange and yellow for my med-surg class, and then pink for pharmacology. Now, this is just what works best for me. I can open up to the page and I automatically know if I have something to do that day, what class that's for. I just like to do it this way, and maybe this might be helpful for you, but literally just sitting down Sunday night and really figuring out what you have to do the next week coming up really gives you a good idea of where you should be spending your time, and just so you do not procrastinate, because procrastination seems to be such a huge thing for nursing students. And I'm just warning you now, nursing school is not a time for you to be procrastinating. I am very serious when I say this. A lot of the times my professors will be like, nope, it's due this day, I'm not giving you any extensions. And a lot of the times in nursing school, your grade is your exam. So if you happen to not go take an exam because you overslept, or if you happen to not even get like the easy points for like paper assignments, essays, or anything like that, you lose out on those points that could really boost your grade if you're right on that border. So just get organized. This will help motivate you not to procrastinate. And let me tell you, it's not fun waiting to the last minute to do something and then you feel anxious on edge and you're just like, oh my God, why did I wait to the last minute to do this? Especially when all your assignments are due at the same time, or like in my program, I have exams literally week after week. And sometimes I have 2 exams every week, or sometimes I have an exam and 2 quizzes. So if I literally wait till the last minute to study for an exam and a quiz that I have that same day, the night before I'm going to be so overwhelmed with all the information they want me to know for both, and my brain will not be able to function, and I lost out on the night before I could have been productive studying for an exam or a quiz. And I also just want to add on to that, find a study routine that works for you. So what I like to do is I like to study a week out before my nursing exams. This is just where I want to make sure that all my notes are done a week prior, and so I'm only studying my notes a week from the exam date. And then that gives me maybe like 4 days or so to solely do practice questions. So find a study routine that works for you. I know every nursing school is going to be different. You may not be able to take that week, or you may like to do more in-depth notes. So just kind of gauge how much time it's going to take you to really prepare for an exam and then implement that within your week. I know a great tip that I can just tell you right now when it comes to studying for exams. When you learn a concept, go home and review that PowerPoint. So a lot of the times you don't have to study every day in nursing school. Literally, I take the weekend off if I want to, or I'll take 1 day off during the week, just so I can really take some time for self-care for myself. But the reason that I can do that is because I look at my notes every day that I've learned the material. I would take about an hour to just really go through and dive in, start my note-taking method, re-listen to the lecture, and this will be about maybe an hour or 2 per day for each class. So I usually do have 2 classes a day. So if I go home and really take that time and utilize the time that I have, I don't have to wait for the weekend to try to catch up from 4 different classes that I had that week. So that is just a tip that I have. Really just take some time that day that you learn the material. It's fresh in your mind. Do not wait, because then you're going to be like, wait, what did my professor say? I don't remember. So just try your best to keep up with the schedule like that, where you just go home and you study the material that day. So another thing that I can think of that you have to look forward to is orientation. Now, orientation for nursing school was so much fun. If there's anything that I can tell you going into orientation is make friends in orientation. You really want to have a good, solid social group that you are able to just kind of hang out with, create a study group with. You need that support in nursing school. You need those people that know exactly what you're going through, exactly what you're feeling, just so you feel like you're not alone. A lot of the times people may have some distress when it comes to feeling of inadequacy or loneliness. But let me tell you, if you have that person that you can go and talk to, it just makes it all the better when you have somebody that you can vent with. So definitely, that is my biggest suggestion. Going into orientation excited, meet people, enjoy everything. They're gonna throw so much at you, but just really take your notes, ask your questions, get prepared, because I promise this is going to be the best time of your life in nursing school, because then you're gonna look back and realize that, oh my God, I'm done with nursing school, and it's gonna fly by. And also with orientation comes expenses. I've said this a few times in my previous video, but really start saving. And if you can't start saving for nursing school, just have an idea of what the expenses are going to be. I did not know how expensive nursing school was, but before orientation or during orientation or after orientation, you're gonna have to buy things like a parking pass, you're gonna have to get vaccinations, a drug test, a background test, you're gonna have to purchase your books, which I know my books were like $600 for like the brand new copies. So I decided to do Amazon. So rent your books if you can off of Chegg, Amazon. Ask previous nursing students if they have the PDF versions. Do whatever you can to save money. And then I also know you have to buy your nursing uniform, which isn't cheap, nursing shoes, all your supplies. So definitely start making a list now, get organized now on what you need to buy, just so you have a good understanding of everything you're gonna need going into your nursing program. I promise if you get this out of the way now, you will feel a lot less stressed going into nursing school. And my last tip that I have for you, I quickly just wanna throw out there, be yourself, be authentic, really be proactive. Be you in nursing school. Don't be anybody else. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Whatever your strength is going to be somebody else's weakness. And whatever somebody else's strength is might be your weakness. Your nursing school journey is your own journey. You do not need to compare yourself. If somebody gets straight A's compared to you getting straight C's, or maybe you happen to fail an exam, it's okay to fail and you still will be a fantastic nurse getting C's. I don't have perfect straight A's, so don't think that I'm sitting here saying I have straight A's, because I don't. But I do just want to say, be proactive. Whenever you're in clinical or whenever you're in lab and the nursing school instructor asks if you want to do something, or if your clinical instructor asks you to do something and you feel comfortable, say yes. Being hands-on is the only way you are going to learn how to be successful in nursing school, okay? It has been the best thing that I could have done in clinical. I know sometimes I'm a little bit shy and timid, and when it comes to working with a patient, I do get nervous, you know? So I do just want to say it's okay to be nervous. Just vocalize it and say, yes, I feel comfortable if you walk me through this. A lot of the times, your nursing instructor has no problem telling you or explaining you how to do something while you're going through that skill, okay? So be proactive and show your clinical instructors that you want to learn, you're willing to learn, because guess what? If you do a fantastic job by the end of clinical, you could use them as a reference. And a lot of the times you do need clinical references now, so just be on the lookout. All right, so those are the tips and tricks that I have for you in this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. And I do just want to say I am always open to answering your questions or to suggestions, so don't forget to discuss anything in the comment section down below. And of course, I always just want to say good luck to you on your nursing journey.